Level 1, $2,300. At $2,300, your friends are perfect. You are 23 years old, you have $2,300 in savings, and the people around you love you. That is real. Keep it because later you will wonder if it was. You feel it at dinner when your aunt mentions your cousin, the one at the bank, the one who figured it out for the third time this year. Pride in her voice and relief. The relief is about you. Your friend Darius Venmos you $15 when you ask for $20. 3 hours to respond. You pay him back the full $20 on Sunday. He doesn't notice the extra $5. You notice that he doesn't notice. File it. Not resentment attention. The two feel different from the inside. Your Saturday grill runs go like this. Weber in the gas station lot, plates at $15, text the group chat, wait. You keep a composition notebook on the table while you work every location you want to open. Every menu idea, every number you're trying to hit, written out in your handwriting so it feels real. Most weeks nobody comes. You clear about $180 after costs. The Instagram post gets 3 likes. Your mom, a stranger, and Marcus, who shows up every few weeks with people in Ralph Lauren polos for somewhere better, always ready to perform. The night Marcus walks off with your notebook is October. He rolls up with his crew already laughing, pays for a plate in crisp ones, then turns the whole parking lot into a bit, points at the grill, points at you, tells his crew this is what it looks like when somebody bets on themselves and loses. Not mean exactly. Worse casual. Like your situation is already a punchline he's been holding. Everybody laughs. You smile because you have to. While you're making change, he slides your composition notebook off the edge of the table into his jacket. Smooth enough you think it fell. You don't notice until the lot clears out. By then you can't say anything without sounding like you can't take a joke, and he knew that before he touched it. So you say nothing. You sit in the car at midnight and write the plans from memory on a receipt. Some things won't come back. The first line does. First location by 25. No menu longer than 8 items. One day that notebook still with Marcus's handwriting in the back will sit inside a box from the first restaurant. Right now you have a receipt and a plan and 2 people who love you and worry about you at every dinner table in your life. Level 2. $25,000. The gas station lot runs kept going through winter. A few regulars, a few strangers, word spreading slow. Someone who tried the food at the lot asked if you did events. You said yes before you thought about it. That turned into a church fundraiser, which turned into 2 birthday parties, which turned into your first real catering contract, a corporate lunch for 40 people. The kind with a deposit and a signed paper. Wednesday. The contract falls through. The client found someone cheaper and told you 48 hours before the event. You've already bought $800 in food. You text the group chat asking for help. 2 people show up, eat free, leave before cleanup. You sell the rest off a friend's porch at a discount over 2 days. You break even. You don't sleep well for 3 nights. You wake up at 4 a.m. and do the math again, and the math is the same. You are still okay. It doesn't feel like okay. The thing about failing at $25,000 is that nobody around you registers it differently from failing at 0. You are still in the category of person who hasn't figured it out yet, and that category doesn't update. It doesn't update on the Wednesday the contract falls through. It doesn't update 3 weeks later either. When a house party pop-up does $1,400 in one night and your Instagram blows up locally and 3 event bookings come in from people at that party. That's when something shifts. Small but real. The group chat calls you chef. Joke at first. Then something between a joke and a title, the difference is audible even though nobody marks it. When the conversation turns to food, people stop using your name. You notice this. You file it alongside the $15 Venmo. Your friend Deshaun helps with the pop-up setup without being asked and stays until the last container is washed. You've known him since high school. He does this like it's nothing. You notice that too. Darius wants to partner up. Handle the business side, he says. You say yes without thinking because you've known him since you were kids and no feels like a larger statement than you mean right now. He attends the next event, eats free, leaves before cleanup. Same the next event. By the 3rd, he's been telling people in the group chat that you 2 are running this together. You end it over text after 19 days. Clean, direct. He takes it as betrayal. A friendship you've had since you were 15 ends over a partnership that moved $0. You buy a new notebook, same black marble cover, same drugstore price. But thinner than the one Marcus took, and there are details from the original you still can't reconstruct. That specific gap is the real cost of what Marcus walked off with. The first corporate contract closes. $4,200. You deposit the check, sit in the car, open the notebook. Same first line. First location by 25. You're 24. Somewhere at the far end of this, you'll be someone the people around you have to schedule to get access to. You don't know that yet. Right now, there's just the car and the check and the plan. Level 3. $100,000. 11 people at the soft launch. You tagged your entire group chat. 2 of them come. You run out of one menu item by 7 p.m. anyway, the 2 told people. And some of those people came and you call it a win. You go home at 1 a.m. with your legs aching and eat standing at the counter and say it out loud. Win. Because you need to hear it in your own voice. 2 weeks later, the health inspector arrives unannounced. Thursday morning, thorough, 90 minutes, every surface. The results come back with no violations. You don't know who called. You have a suspicion you keep to yourself. The inspection came back clean. That has to be enough. A food blogger you've never met posts a review on her own positive, specific, names 2 dishes. The following Saturday, there's a line outside before you open. You are cooking, managing the front, and washing dishes in the windows between services. You lose 14 pounds in 60 days. Your doctor looks at the blood pressure numbers and says that's something to watch. You schedule a follow-up you won't make it to. First month, $18,000 in revenue, $3,200 cleared after rent, food, and labor. Real numbers. You are a real business. Deshaun does the Thursday and Friday close while you handle a catering pickup on the other side of town. He never asks what it's worth. You notice this specifically. At 2 a.m. after the last table turns, you eat the last plate alone. The following Saturday, someone from the old crew shows up without a reservation on your busiest night full room. 45-minute wait for everyone, and expects to be seated first. You hold the line. That night he posts, "Thought we were boys." He acts brand new now. You see it when you're eating. Say nothing. Take his table offline for the weekend. The crew member's post surprises you. Marcus's doesn't. He posts from the parking lot the next afternoon. Stay humble for friends. No names. 47 mutual friends see it. You close the app and go back to the reservation list. You open the notebook. Add a second line under the first. Second location within 18 months. The accounting has started the running ledger nobody told you to keep. Who showed up when it cost something? Who showed up when it was free? You didn't choose to start keeping it. It started keeping itself. Not resentment, vigilance. You already know what resentment costs. This is something colder. The restaurant is open. The ledger is too. Level 4. $500,000. The celebration dinner for the second lease signing is 4 people. You invited 8. 5 texted excuses within an hour of each other, which means they talked. You sit down with your lawyer, who is technically on the clock, Deshaun, and 1 other person. The new space is a former diner with real foot traffic, twice the seats, and the right address. You eat the meal with 3 people who actually came. You've known Deshaun since before the first plate you ever sold. He shows up every time you ask, usually before you finish the sentence. He is the same person at this lease signing that he was at the pop-up and in the kitchen doing Thursday closes. You have started to understand how rare that actually is, and you've also started to wonder, quietly, how long anything stays intact at the levels you're heading toward. 3 people from the old group chat reach out about jobs within 4 days of each other, which also means they talked. You hire 2. The first doesn't show up twice in his first 11 days. You let him go. He tells the group chat he was fired for nothing. The second shows up every day, learns everything, closes the restaurant without being asked, and becomes your most reliable on-site manager inside 4 months. 2 different people, same group chat, same entry point. You watch this and say nothing, because saying it out loud would require admitting you've been running a test none of them knew they were in. A city magazine profiles you. The journalist asks who's been there from the beginning. You mentioned Deshaun. That night, 2 people from the original crew text separately to say they're hurt they weren't included. You read both, screenshot them, create a folder. Never open the folder again. Lunch with Marcus. He called 2 weeks prior, heard things were going well. Wanted to catch up, and declining felt like a statement you weren't ready to make. He orders the salmon. He's been working on something. A food truck concept. He walks through the details, the 8-item menu, the neighborhood positioning, the low overhead model, and you recognize specific ideas you wrote in the notebook he pocketed 3 years ago. He doesn't acknowledge the source. He finishes the pitch and picks up the check like it was never a question. You watch him walk to his car. On the booth seat across from you. The composition notebook. The original. He brought it like a prop and left it like a receipt. You pick it up. Say nothing. There is nothing left to say about it. You leave it in the office at the restaurant in a box with the first lease and the first menu. You take the replacement notebook from the glove box. Both lines are still there. First location by 25. Second location within 18 months. Both done. You cross them out and write underneath. What do I actually want? You drive home past the gas station parking lot. Don't stop. Level 5. $1 million. You drive 40 minutes alone to stand in a grocery store aisle and look at a bottle of hot sauce with your name on it. 3 minutes, maybe. You take the photo. Post it. 40,000 views by the end of the day. The group chat silent for the better part of a year has 14 notifications within the first 2 hours. 14. In 2 hours. You think about the Instagram post from the gas station grill. 3 likes. You think about the soft launch where 2 people came. You count the months between that silence and this noise. The math is not complicated. What it shows you is that the people around you were not asleep during those months. They were waiting for a signal worth responding to. The crew wants in. 2 want to invest not serious capital, but enough to have a stake and a claim to the story. 1 wants to be a brand ambassador, product, visibility, proximity, no labor attached. 1 wants to connect you to someone who can really blow this up. That someone turns out to be a regional promoter with a rented office, no verifiable track record, and a consulting fee required up front. You don't pay it. The friend who made the introduction acts as though you've refused him something personal. You are now fluent in the ask that arrives dressed as opportunity, the one that requires you to give first and that benefits the asker regardless of what happens after. You can spot it by the 3rd sentence now. That fluency cost you something to acquire. A supplier overcharges on the first major product run. Your lawyer sends a letter. Supplier backs down in a week. What you notice afterward. Your hands didn't do the thing they used to do when anything financial went wrong, the slight tremor, the specific tightness. You sit in the car outside the lawyer's office for a minute after and let yourself notice the absence. Not strength, something else. The part of you that shook was the part that knew it had something real to lose. You file the observation without naming it. Wednesday afternoon. Your accountant shows you the screen. Net worth crosses $1 million. He says, congratulations, and means it. You say thank you and mean it. Then you sit in his parking lot with the engine running and wait for the feeling you've been building toward for 5 years. It doesn't arrive. You call your mother on the drive home. She is loud and specific and already planning what she's going to tell your aunt. You listen to her excitement and feel the distance between her reaction and your interior. You love her. The gap is real. Both of those things are true at the same time, and nobody ever told you how to hold both. The notebook is in the center console. 90 days since you've opened it. The question on the first page, what do I actually want, is still there, still unanswered. You pick it up at a red light, put it back down. Level 6, $10 million. The wire hits on a Tuesday morning. $7.4 million after taxes and fees. You are standing at your kitchen counter when it clears. You ordered food from the restaurant that used to be yours out of habit, or something harder to name, and the DoorDash is 42 minutes out. And that's the moment the transfer lands. You eat it standing up when it arrives. It was always good. The world you're moving through now doesn't translate back. Fund structure, acquisition multiples. Carried interest, the portion of fund profits a manager keeps regulatory positioning. Tax treatment on liquidity events. This language lives in rooms that your old life cannot enter, and when you leave those rooms, you cannot bring the language home. The 2 atmospheres don't mix. A childhood friend's birthday party. Same neighborhood you grew up in, same house, same music, same food. Someone asks what you do. You say investments? The word lands wrong, a half-degree drop in room temperature. Not hostility. Recalibration. You spend the rest of the evening helping in the kitchen, because the kitchen is still the one room where you know exactly where everything belongs. Deshaun finds you there, hands you a plate and says, "Bro, I'm proud of you. I also genuinely don't understand half of what you do anymore." You laugh. It is the most honest thing anyone has said to you in 2 years, and you don't know what to do with it, and you know that not knowing is itself information. 3 weeks later, a parking garage downtown after a deal meeting. You think it's cardiac at first, the chest tightening, the air stopping, the specific sensation that something structural is failing. You sit on the concrete floor in a suit that costs $3,000 and call Deshaun, and he picks up in 2 rings and stays on the phone without asking a single question for 20 minutes. When it passes, you go home and Google the symptoms and call a therapist before you fall asleep. Your concierge doctor reviews your physical, blood pressure elevated, cholesterol elevated, stress-related appears in his notes 4 times. You are 32 years old, and the body has been billing you, and you have been ignoring the invoices. Marcus is at the party. He finds you and tells the gas station grill story to a small circle in the easy, unhurried way of someone telling a story they own. In his version, he was there from the beginning. He believed in you. He always knew. You nod. You go home and search his name. 4 businesses started and closed in 5 years. You buy a notebook. Leather, substantial, something handwritten inside the cover about growth. You open it that night. First line, what do you actually want? Same question. Different handwriting. You notice that too. And somewhere at the end of this road, further than you can see from here, is a version of you who will stop asking that question. Not because it gets answered, because the asking stops feeling like it belongs to you. Level 7. $100 million. Somewhere over Dallas you realize you've been flying first class for 6 months and cannot locate the first time you upgraded. You try. Houston, Phoenix, 2 trips to New York in the same week. The memory of crossing that line isn't there. The moment when it stopped being a reward and became just the default has passed without you noticing it. It's not the cost that bothers you. It's that you can't find the memory. Your inner circle is 5 people. Deshaun. 2 business partners. Your lawyer. Your EA, who manages your calendar and increasingly your access to everything else. Everyone outside those 5 is a relationship with a function. This didn't happen by decision. It resolved itself gradually and then all at once, and by the time you noticed, the count had already settled at 5. A childhood friend gets married. You attend. At the reception, every time you speak, the conversation calibrates slightly around what you said. The way a room adjusts around a large piece of furniture someone just moved in. People are careful, not unkind. Careful. You leave during the reception. You tell the groom it was beautiful, and he hugs you, and you can tell he's been managing something all evening, and you don't ask what. You're in a different city for a closing when the second panic attack comes. You know what it is this time that helps and doesn't help. You sit on the parking garage floor for the full 20 minutes instead of fighting it. When it passes, you realize you didn't call Deshaun. You sat alone until it ended, then drove back to the hotel. You don't know exactly when that changed, when he stopped being the person you reach for. Your therapist's phrase for what's been building. High-functioning dissociation, the state where every external system is running correctly while the interior person watches from slightly to the left. You write the phrase in the leather notebook when you get back. It's the most you've written in it. A 14-property acquisition closes. Net worth past $100 million. Your team pops champagne in the conference room and you are there laughing in the right places, making the right eye contact, and also somewhere just to the left of present, watching yourself do all of it. You drive home after and take a detour you didn't plan. You park at the gas station on the boulevard, sit in the car. The grill spot is just asphalt now. You tell yourself you'll get out. You sit there for 4 minutes. A man walking past recognizes you, reaches for his phone, and you pull back into traffic before the window closes. There is no longer a version of this that is private. Marcus sends a DM. 400 words, formal, clearly drafted with help. Our shared history. A foundation of trust, strategic opportunity. You read it all the way through. Forward it to your EA. No response needed. The following week, Marcus posts a caption about people who forget where they came from. 6 people tag you in the comments. You turn off notifications. Don't post for 40 days. Level 8. $1 billion. Forbes notification, Thursday morning. Eating breakfast alone. Your mother calls before you've processed it and reads the description out loud, third person, past tense. Your name followed by your net worth, followed by a paragraph summarizing your career as though it's already complete. You listen to her read it. You have the specific experience of hearing your own life narrated back to you from a slight distance, the way you'd feel if someone started reading your obituary while you were still in the room. That's you, she says. You tell her it's you. Deshaun's calls are monthly now, in the calendar. Your EA schedules them. On a Tuesday in November, he says, "Bro, I miss when I could just pull up." You say he can pull up whenever, he says. It doesn't work like that anymore and you know it. Both of you go quiet. The call ends shortly after. Both of you know what was said. His daughter needs surgery. The The bill is $180,000. You wire it from your phone in 4 minutes. You text him after, he responds. Thank you, bro. Neither of you brings it up on the next call. Or the call after that. You understand that the transfer cost you nothing you'll feel and cost you Deshaun entirely. The relationship crossed a threshold that thresholds don't cross back from. You now have no one left who sees you as a person first. Level 9. $10 billion. You sit at the head of a 22-person table in a meeting with a foreign trade delegation, and you are the most competent person in the room and the most unreachable. And both of those have been true long enough that you've stopped finding them remarkable. During an office move, someone finds a box from the first restaurant. Inside it, the original composition notebook. Cheap marble cover, college-ruled, $2.99 at any drugstore. Your EA puts it on your desk without knowing what it is. You open it. The handwriting is yours at 23. Confident, a little messy, the letters pressing hard into the paper. First location by 25. No menu longer than 8 items. Later in the book, pages in a rounder, less certain hand Marcus's notes, copying the plans out. Probably the same week he took it. Probably never understanding why ideas need to come from the person who had them to mean anything. He never used them. You hold the notebook for a long time. Marcus is a local radio personality now. Small business content, 40,000 followers. He posts a video. What growing up around you taught him about success? Warm, specific, almost entirely fictional. He frames himself as a mentor, a seed planter, an early believer. Your team asks if you want to respond. You ask your EA to pull the lease record on his radio station's building. Your holding company has owned that block for 4 years. The renewal is in 14 months. Standard commercial renewal, you say. Market rate. You don't say his name. The sentence is complete without it. The original notebook goes on the boardroom wall of your holding company's headquarters. Framed, lit, behind glass. No label. No explanation. People who work for you ask about it sometimes. You say, something I wrote when I was 23. Nobody in that building knows what it cost to write it. Nobody knows about the parking lot, the $180, the 3 likes, the $15 Venmo. Marcus in crisp ones while you smiled because you had to. You know. You're the only one left who was there. It doesn't feel like anything. That's the last cost. It takes away the feeling of the thing. If this one stayed with you, leave a thought below. Subscribe for more.